Welcome back. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines canceled a recent port call in Bali due to terrorism concerns. This as the investigation into yesterday's Brussels terrorist attack intensifies. That third terrorist now captured. We are following the report that the third airport bomber has been arrested in Brussels. Joining us right now is Royal Caribbean President and Chief Operating Officer Adam Goldstein. Adam, it is good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Tell us about the cancellation of the trip to Bali and what terrorist concerns have been doing.
Well, I think as you would expect of a company such as ours, we put a lot of effort into security. We work with law enforcement all over the world. We are calling on about 500 ports around the world annually, and we make judgments about the information that we're receiving. And occasionally, not often, but occasionally, we decide based on what we know that it would not be in the best interest of the line or the guest to go to a place. And we've made that decision as it relates to Bali a couple of times recently. Fortunately, most places in the world are absolutely safe to go to.
Right.
But if we're not comfortable, we're not going.
Do you see an immediate impact to travelers' behavior when you see a terrorist attack like this? I mean, does that dictate whether or not they're actually going to take a cruise?
So this is a societal problem, obviously. It's bigger than travel and tourism.
Sure.
It's certainly bigger than cruising. We might see some impact from the people living in the environment of Northern Europe. I think we saw that briefly after the Paris attacks, unfortunately. But the world moves on. This is a world where people want to take vacations. They want to enjoy themselves. Everybody talks about trying to go on with your life. Make sure you're having the opportunity to enjoy what you are capable of doing, and I think that will prevail here as well.
I was just wondering, you mentioned that there was a brief dip in demand after Paris. Can you quantify that a little bit? Like what sort of time frame are we talking about here?
It was, I think, a week or two after, and it was pretty de minimis.
So these are short. These are short
scheme
spurts.
of things. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't mean that anybody takes anything lightly what's going on here. I think probably like any of us who know people in the area probably, reached out yesterday and said, how are you? And in my case, a friend of a friend was wounded in the attack. So it's not speculative, it's not theoretical, it's very real, it's affecting people's lives. But I think most people in the world are determined to go on and have the life that they want to lead and are capable of leading.
Sure, sure.
How financially healthy is your customer right now, based on what in terms of bookings?
So look, it's been 7 years, I guess, since the Great Recession, and we've made steady progress ever since. As you know, we've talked about this over the course of the years. So economically, the environment, we always love for it to be better. Hey, who wouldn't like for the economy to be better than it is?
So how would you characterize things right now?
Sequentially, things continue to get better. The guidance that we gave last quarter was for a positive yield development this year. Would be the 7th year in a row.
Just thinking about the cost side of things, we've seen energy prices come in a lot past few years, but now they've rallied. Crude about 50% off the lows made earlier this year. How are you managing that, and how are you viewing fuel prices here in terms of your bottom line?
On an overall basis, fuel prices continue to be, very significantly lower than anything we would have anticipated a couple of years before. So yes, it's come up off of its lows. But in the scheme of our costs and the cost discipline that we've been sort of lauded for in recent years, I would say current fuel prices are very supportive of our business model.
Is Cuba the next horizon for you? I mean, we see that Carnival has won approval for Cuba sailings. Is this something that is a big opportunity, do you think, for the industry?
It's definitely an opportunity. It's something that travel agents in particular in this country have been very excited about for a long time. It's sort of, if you think about what we do in the Caribbean, we have for 45 years sent cruise ships in a big circle around Cuba without going to it. People would like to go.
I was just there. I highly recommend it. If your ship is sailing there, oh, it's fascinating.
It's a really interesting place.
Fascinating, yes. It's a very interesting place.
We're certainly interested in taking people there. We obviously would have to be in compliance with all the United States laws that pertain to the situation, but we think it will be exciting when we're able to go.
And what's the timing on that? Do you see
There's no way to know. It's up to the Cubans to give permission, and they're obviously assessing their options.
Real quick on the Zika virus, is that done in terms of a story, a worry for, I mean, speaking of the Caribbean, the Zika virus?
We're not aware that we ever saw any sort of impact on the business, and it doesn't seem to be a conversation today.
Adam, it's really nice to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for weighing in. Adam Goldstein joining us there. We will